Hey, I'm Johnny. This is 5 reasons INFJs love INTJs. Let's just jump right into it. So the first reason is that INTJs are actually more similar to INFJs than a lot of people realize. Now, I'll be quick to say there are a bunch of differences, and we're going to touch on that a little bit later here in the video. But INFJs and INTJs both have dominant introverted intuition. That's the first cognitive function. Introverted intuition is all about possibilities. It's about deep meaning, deep insight, looking at what's behind the curtain, looking at abstract, concepts and ideas. And then also fourth function, extroverted sensing. That is the inferior or the repressed function of both the INFJ and the INTJ. So these two cognitive functions are the same for INFJs and INTJs, and they're in the same order. So a lot of times INFJs and INTJs will click with each other because of this. Now there are differences, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit. But INFJs love the fact that they can communicate with INTJs on that introverted intuition plane, and also all that comes along with extroverted sensing. Extroverted sensing is about taking action in the present moment. It is the present moment. Extroverted sensing is what is happening in the here and now. A lot of times people who have extroverted sensing somewhere in their cognitive function stack will be inclined to do sports or just anything that's all about the here and now, the present moment. And INTJs and INFJs, because they both have those same cognitive functions and in the same order, they a lot of times can see eye to eye on a lot of things. Conversations can be very stimulating, and they can get along on a lot of subjects, provided that some of the other things we're going to talk about here are in place. All right, so the second reason that INFJs love INTJs is that they are generally, not always, but they are generally bold in their assertions, okay? Now, this comes down to not only their introverted intuition, but it's the combination of their dominant introverted intuition and their auxiliary extroverted thinking. INTJs with that extroverted thinking being in the auxiliary slot, you guys, they're going to be, in my opinion, they're going to be, not always, but generally more inclined to speak up and make bold assertions about their insights. Whereas an INFJ, having extroverted feeling instead of extroverted thinking, we might be more inclined to withhold or withdraw from making bold assertions about something for the sake of harmony within the group, right? If we're going to say something that we know might offend multiple people in the group, an INFJ may hold back on that. Not always, right? Whereas an INTJ is, in my experience and from the INTJs that I've met and the INTJs that I know and from what I've read about them online, they tend to be more willing to go ahead and just speak boldly their assertions and their insights with less concern as to what those in the group may be feeling. That's not to say that they're necessarily crass or rude, although they can be. So can any personality type. But I think INTJs, they'll just go ahead and say what they believe, and INFJs love that about them. The third reason INFJs love INTJs is that INTJs are arguably even more introverted than INFJs. You guys have probably heard stories about some INTJs, like the classic mad scientist is often portrayed as an INTJ, right? INTJs can get so caught up in their extroverted thinking and in their introverted intuition that they can just literally brood on a subject for days, weeks, even months on end. Now, INFJs can do that too, but an INTJ, because INTJs are true introverts and because they don't have that extroverted feeling like INFJs do, they can be alone for even longer periods of time. Now, when an INFJ gets drained, we can certainly do the same thing, right? But INTJs, I don't think that they have quite that need, right, to socialize as much as INFJs do. INFJs are introverts just like INTJs are, but INTJs, man, they're more about the systems. They're more about rationalizing, systematizing, right, working on projects, working on technological projects and systems and things that preoccupy their mind so much that you guys, they can be content. It's my experience and understanding that INTJs can be content for longer periods of time without without needing socialization. So in INFJ, if we're burned out and we've been absorbing the emotions of people all day or all week, we can go and maybe hang out with an INTJ, and they'll chill with us and they'll be low maintenance and we can relax and just talk about the mysteries of the universe. And you know what? If we have an INTJ partner and we're really drained, they'll more than likely be okay with us. If we need our time alone, they'll be like, hey, no problem. And the INTJ will probably ask for time alone themselves. INFJs love this about INTJs, that they understand our need for time alone. We are all introverts, both INFJs and INTJs, but the INTJ will understand the need for the INFJ's time alone. We love that about them. The fourth reason INFJs love INTJs is that they are quick-witted. Every INTJ I've ever met, ever known, ever talked to, seen online, they're quick-witted. They say what they mean what they say, they get to the point. I don't know what it is, I guess what it comes down to, and let me know in the comments if you guys have a different take on this, but see, INFJs, we use tertiary introverted thinking, right? So a lot of times INFJs need time to process what they're going to say, to spit it out. They might not be quite as quick to speaking as an INTJ would because of that extroverted thinking process. INFJs are more likely to pause between statements, right? A lot of times I pause, you guys, but I edit it out so that you don't see the pauses, but there's lots of ums and pauses and contemplation. Well, there might be INTJs out there that do that, and then I'm sure there are INFJs who might be, more articulate or better at, wit and things like that than others. But in my experience, the INTJ really can excel in being quick-witted, and they're funny. I think it's that combination of NI and TE. A lot of times INFJs tend to be better writers than we are speakers, and so we stand in awe of the INTJ's ability to just really articulate insights and to be quick-witted and on point when talking about insights related to introverted intuition. Okay, you guys, the fifth and final reason INFJs love INTJs is we love them because they are usually even-keeled. Now, there are some turbulent INTJs out there, but most of them tend to be the assertive kind. If you've ever taken the 16 personalities test, most of your INFJs, I think it's like, I don't know the exact statistic, but it's like 70 or 80% of INFJs that take the 16 personalities test as an INFJ-T or a turbulent INFJ, whereas your NT rational temperament in general, so your ENTP, INTP, ENTJ, INTJ, they tend to be more assertive, and so they're even-keeled. And an INFJ loves interacting with the NT temperament, any of the personality types, because when an INFJ is sensitive, or when we're all off in one of our emotional tangents or whatever, idealizing the world and getting let down for whatever reason, INTJs are generally steady and they're rational and they're logical. And the truth of the matter is that INFJs can struggle to have those kinds of rational, logical, polarizing conversations with other personality types. The INTJ not only has the same worldview with the introverted intuition, but because they are rational, the INFJ can really go deep with their introverted thinking, and we can talk about some really heavy subjects in the land of abstraction and things related to systems for humanity and technology and aliens and all kinds of cool stuff. And the INTJ will generally maintain a steady, rational, logical approach to the conversation, and this helps balance the INFJ out when we're in discussions with them. Those are my 5 reasons today, you guys. Just the 5 that came to mind today. There are more than 5 reasons INFJs love INTJs. INTJs, you are paving the way for the systems of mankind and for humanity. You guys give us the hope of a brighter and better future. You optimize systems. You take the world as it is and you make it an even better place for us, and we love you for that. Thank you for tuning in today, you guys. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Take care.